Hey everyone, how are you?
Hey guys.
Welcome to our first stream. We are totally a little late, sorry, and we are all bumfuzzled. I don't even know where I got that. And I said I'm the Hot Mess Express today, so bear with us.
Hey, I'll turn on my camera for y'all. Y'all can see my t-shirt right
Oh,
now.
I
It's
turned
better
off
than
my
that.
volume. There we go.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I
How
gotta
is
mute.
everyone? Let's see, we got Verbal in here. Hey Verbal, hey Winky, hey Bonnie. How is everyone? Oh, hey Lori. Can you guys hear us okay? I just had us in the background, so I had to turn us off.
I can't figure out if I got my camera on or off. I don't know what it's doing.
Now it's on.
Okay.
Hey, Andrew. You did make it. How's it going? Awesome. Bonnie can hear. Perfect. I love your hair like that, Cece. It's so pretty.
Okay, how's it look, y'all? Let's see. I can't tell.
Oh, the camera is good. You're just, I see your arm right now.
Okay. I'm gonna sit
Showing
down
off
then.
your pretty hair.
Well, I don't know how it is because I'm on my phone.
Oh, nope, you're good. Buffering. Oh, buttering. I thought it said buffering, and Verbal Conservation said buttering some baked goods, but I'm here. I thought she said buffering. I was like, dang it already.
So we want to talk about Katie. You want to tell them a little bit about what we're going to do on here?
Oh, I totally don't even care. We can do whatever you would like, lady.
Well, how did your appointment go? We can just talk about something regular. How'd your appointment go?
Nah, it was all right.
Yeah.
Hi, Water Ski Mom. Hey, who else has come in?
You
Southern
live
Mom.
up there next to the Roden murders.
I do. Yeah. That's what I wanted to bring up to you. I haven't followed, like, I'm a little behind as far as like the last few days, but that was a case that. So my dad is a true crime junkie too, and he is in sales. He doesn't have anything to do with, anything like this, but he loves Dateline and all that stuff. And I told him from the very beginning, I was like, I can tell you somebody related to the family is going to be arrested for this. It's just going to happen. And he's like, no, I don't think so. It's got to be the cartels. It's got to be drug related. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. I'm like, no, it's going to be family. And it took a long time, but there's so much going on. There's so many issues with that case. Like the sheriff in charge of everything was just, he was arrested on multiple different counts of doing something. I don't know. There's something going on with that. And then for a while, there was my biggest concern with the whole thing. And I want your thoughts on this. And then I want you to like tell me what you think about everything. But like, I wanted to get this out. So I don't know if a lot of people know that I'm kind of from the area. I'm a decent, I guess, drive away, but it's also kind of out there in the country a little bit compared to where I live. I live in a big city. And so I've kept up with it. It's really close. It's always on our local news. And for a while there, they had moved basically all of the property. So, there were multiple different crime scenes and stuff. And they wanted to preserve all of the evidence in the crime scene as best as they could. So they took everything to a different location and they did what they said was secure it. Well, they didn't completely secure the evidence. It wasn't secured completely. There were ways to get around it. There were people that were basically bringing it to the public's light in our area. There was some local news and some other people saying, hey, I've been to this property. There are holes in their whole secured property access whole thing. It wasn't manned all the time.
Yeah.
There were different places that you could get away with not being caught on CCTV footage. And it also wasn't completely secured. You could get on to that property. It was right next to something else and you could get on that property. And so no matter what happens right now, I feel like when they do go to trial, the fact that evidence can't necessarily, that's one of the biggest parts of an investigation. It's going to cause a lot of issues and stuff.
Yeah. Um, Verbal didn't know which case you were talking about. Could you kind of explain it a little bit? What happened, where it was at, where it happened at?
Yeah, the Pike County murders happened in Pike County, Ohio. It's kind of like a little country town. They, I guess there was a family member who showed up to find out. I don't know if they were supposed to, like, I can't, it's been so long since I've looked at this. But there was a family member that showed up on the property for one reason or another and discovered their family members deceased. They were all shot. They said that they were shot execution style, and there were, I want to say there were 8 of them, but for some reason I want to say there were 9. I think it's because there were kids that were unharmed. There was at least one child who was a newborn who was laying next to their deceased mother when they were found. Um, Ultimately, what they determined is that the shootings and death happened over a custody battle over one of the youngest shooting victims and her daughter. And one of the people that was arrested, it was a family. There were 4 members of the family that were arrested, and the father of that young child was one of those that was arrested. So it ended up being a custody dispute, is what they're saying. But due to the location of where the murders occurred and due to some of the things that they found on the property, there were multiple different, it's my understanding they were like manufactured homes and they were on a very big property. And there was marijuana that was found. It was thought that maybe they were growing it, selling it, doing something with it. Um, they're very close to a main highway in the area, which is a very long highway and runs from one area to another, and it's very easy to get back and forth. So it was also thought that maybe some cartels may have something to do with it if it was drug related, as they were said to have been all shot execution style. So that's kind of a rundown, but they also left at least one child unharmed in that whole situation. And one of the youngest that was killed, they were all family members. One of the youngest was in their teens, and one of the oldest was, I want to say they were in like their 50s or 60s.
Okay, so who was the father of the? Okay, so the little girl, their granddaughter that the murders happened over the custody of. Okay, so her mom was killed.
Hannah
Okay, there's
Roden. Yeah, it was Hannah Roden was the mother of the child that was killed.
okay. So who was the dad of the newborn? Because there was a baby in bed with her. I read that.
Yes. Yes, there was. I think she had 2 kids. Hang on. It's Jake Wagner is the one who was in the relationship with Hannah. I'm looking this up right now. There were 8 family members. I thought it was 8, but for some reason the number 9 kept coming in the back of my mind for some reason. Like I said, I think it was because there was the one, I know there was the one baby. Hannah was 19, and Edward, also known as Jake Wagner, was dating her. And it says that they died on April 22nd of 2016. So it's been over 3 years. And okay, here, this is what it says. It says Hannah Roden was killed April 22nd of 2016 as she slept alongside her newborn daughter, Kylie, who had just been born days earlier. She had been shot twice in the head.
Yeah. So
Um,
Verbal says, did they see anything? I don't think anyone saw anything, did they?
I no, I'm pretty sure they were all sleeping. It happened in the middle of the night. The kids, the one was just a few days old. The other child that they spared, if there was one, I'm trying to think. They weren't very old. Um, so it says that the baby was left unharmed, and Hannah Roden's older daughter, Sophia, had been staying with Wagner the night of the deadly massacre, also sparing her life. So Hannah had 2 children, and both of those children were spared. I don't know if, I think both of them were Jake Wagner's, but I'm not 100% positive.
Yeah. Verbal says, wow, savage. My B day is April 23rd. Maybe that's why I've not heard of it. Was preoccupied. Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember when this happened and it was
yeah.
all over the news.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest shooting that's happened in our area in a very long time. It says here that many of whom of the victims had been asleep in their beds when they were shot, so they had no idea it was coming. It says that the systematic attacks took place in 4 separate trailer homes in Piketon, Ohio, and claimed the lives of Hannah Roden's parents, which were Christopher Roden Sr., who's 40, and Dana Manley Roden, who's 38, along with her brothers, Clarence, Frankie Roden, who was 20, and Chris Roden Jr., who was 16. Frankie Roden's fiance, Hannah Gilley, who was 20, and Christopher Roden Sr.'s older brother, Kenneth Roden, who was 44, and then a cousin named Gary Roden, who was 38. So there were 4 different locations that this took place.
Yeah. Was there only one kid in the house that night?
Yeah, so I think that there was the one child who was just 4 days old who was sleeping next to Hannah, and then they had another kid who, it doesn't say her age, but her name's Sophia, and they said that she was actually staying the night at the suspect's home the night that everything happened. They didn't even arrest anybody for 2 years also. Like I think it was a decent amount of time, over 2 years too, that they hadn't arrested anyone.
So this happened in 2016?
Yep, and it just says here, it says it happened April 20, hold on, it was April 22nd, I think. April 22nd of 2016, and they were just arrested in, yeah, it was April 22nd, 2016, and they were just arrested in November of 2018. The 4 people that were arrested were the Wagner family. George, also known as Billy Wagner, he's the 3rd. His wife, Angela Wagner, and their 2 sons, George Wagner the 4th and Jake Wagner. And they were all charged with murder. They have pleaded not guilty to the charges against them, and an attorney who represents the family said that they will be vindicated.
Juror 13 says this happened a while ago. They've already started trial. I don't think they started
No, they
trial
haven't
yet.
started trial.
No.
It's been pushed back. There's been a lot of things that have happened. I live right by Juror 13. I actually live in the area. It's always all over our news. Every time something happens, I get news notifications sent to my phone. And like the last thing that had happened was the sheriff who was related to this whole case. He was arrested and charged with, I want to say like 15 different counts of all kinds of crap. I forgot to look into that and see what had happened with him, but he kind of seemed like he might be a little crooked in the beginning. So it says that Sophia is 5 now. So I guess she would have been, it happened 3.5 years ago. So about 1.5, 2.
Yeah.
And Jake Wagner was actually quite a few years older than Hannah, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it said how old he was in the last article. And Hannah was only 19 when she was shot and killed, and they had an older kid. So she was under the age of 18 when they first started dating, and he is, hold on. Jake is, oh wait, that's all the victims. Oh, it doesn't say the ages. It says the ages of the victims, but not the ages of the suspects.
Yeah, I've watched a good documentary on the Oxygen channel. If you have on demand, you can go look on their channel, and they got a great documentary on it.
It's actually the article that I was just reading from. That's where it came from, was Oxygen.
Oh, they got great articles. I get a lot of mine from there. And
Yeah, they're
People
good.
Magazine. I'm obsessed with People Magazine, people.
I like heavy.com's articles, like the 5 fast facts you need to know or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look. I can't remember how old he was, but I want to say he's like 26 or 27. He was a decent amount older than her.
Well, I always dated older guys.
Yeah, but she was young and had a kid with him and then had another kid with him, and she was in her teens. Like by the time she had her second kid with him, he was like a lot older than her and she was still in her teens. It's different when you're like 20, 30.
I heard that wasn't the baby that was found with her. I heard that wasn't his.
It might not have been his, but I think that the other girl was his. So it's possible. There's been so much that's come out in this, and then half of it has gone back and forth. Okay, so the girl was 3 at the time when her mom was killed. I'm going to figure out how old he is real quick.
So she's about 6 now.
Yeah, I think they said she's 5 now or something. She should be, I guess she'll be 6 soon. I had a friend who, when I was in high school, she dated someone who was quite a bit older than her. And I mean, he was 10 years older than her. So when she was 17, he was 27. And they were having their first kid. And it was just like, I don't know, it was difficult. And they always had difficulties because she was still growing up and he had already been there and done that. Like, I know I was wild and stupid from the time I was like 16 to, I don't know, 23. And that's just big for me. And when you're older, like anything else, it's a little bit different because you've experienced life a little bit. So have they. But I feel like when you're younger, I don't know, it was just always really hard for them. And I had to watch that. And
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder, I mean, how are they going to explain this to this little girl? What her dad and grandmother and family have done to her mom and other family? How
oh,
they
yeah,
going to
for sure.
explain that? I gotta get some coffee.
Okay, so he is 26 right now. So 3 years ago, he would have been 23 when she was 19. I guess that's not that. I thought it was more of a difference than that. When was this? This is from 2018. So he may be 27 now. So he was like 24, 25, I think.
Juror 13 says you can watch the preliminary. I can never say that name when I'm live hearing on Law and Crime. I'm going to have to check that out. I love that channel, by the way. Law and Crime. Thank you, Verbal. Verbal, I had my first kid when I was 27 and my only child. My first kid. My only
That's
kid.
hilarious. I was 27 too.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't
Oh, wait.
think I could really have kids, and then I was surprised with my beautiful, awesome son.
No, I think I got pregnant when I was 27, but I was 28 when I had him.
Yeah. Well, I had Timothy December 29th, and then in January I turned 28. He was a big baby too.
Mine was going to be, but I ended up having him a few weeks early because I was having issues.
Yeah.
So George Wagner's trial was set. He goes, let's see here.
I'm having a cigarette now.
So George Wagner the Fourth is going to stand trial on September 4th. When else do we have these coming up here?
I thought on the September 4th one, I thought they said today that they set that back or something. Or is that a different one?
It's possible. That was from June. Let's see what they've done in the last week or so, last week or month.
I saw a couple new
Oh,
articles,
hold on.
Katie.
Nope, that just happened within the last 24 hours. I know what you're talking. I just pulled it up here. It says the murder trial
Yeah.
for one of the suspects of the Roden family has been pushed back. Yeah, so it was scheduled for September. Now, and this is just one of the family members. Now it's been pushed back to, let's see. He was wearing a court-ordered shock vest underneath his civilian clothes for security purposes. When did they set it for? Okay. It says it's been pushed back to an undetermined date. It was initially set for September 4th. The grandmother is still facing obstruction and perjury charges. She may have her bond revoked. That was as of the other day. That was as of yesterday. So I guess the grandmother is facing charges for connection with the brutal execution style murders that claimed the life of the 8. I wonder if it's because she watched Sophia or something. Let's see. They filed a motion to revoke the bail of, this is Rita Newcomb. That's somebody else.
So, from what I understand, they stalked these people out. I mean, they were like military people up in the woods watching their routine and stuff, right? Because they were
That
pretty
doesn't surprise me.
organized the night that they murdered these people allegedly. It seems like they were pretty organized.
Yeah, they went in the middle of the night, and not one person had enough time to do anything about that, and they killed 8 people. And it's my understanding that they did grow and or buy and sell marijuana, and it was a lot of it, is my understanding. And so I would think that maybe they would be in the business to protect themselves and their stash they got going on. That's my assumption of all of that. And I just feel like they completely caught them all off guard. They were sleeping. They came in the middle of the night, and that's why a lot of people speculated that it was the cartel, that it was this was something that was completely planned, but also it was something that this isn't the first time it had ever happened, is what they were kind of speculating at. I don't know if these people they were thinking organized crime because they're just really good at it. They got away with it. I mean, nobody got arrested they got arrested in November of 2018. This happened April 22nd of 2016. So they literally got away with it for 2 years and 7 months before they even got arrested.
Do you know what kind of evidence they have against them?
Yeah, I think they have some sort of evidence that links them, I think. They have some sort of planning of it, or like some sort of something of them saying that here's the planning. Hold on. I feel like there was some sort of like conversation between people where it was mentioned. I don't know if it was in a text or something like that. I can't find it now. There's a lot. Like I'm telling you, they took the whole entire crime scene and preserved it on a new location. Like, it's my understanding they took those manufactured homes and moved them off of the lot. They completely took that whole entire crime scene to preserve it. They didn't touch hardly anything other than what they had to do to take photos and collect evidence and obviously send the bodies out for autopsies and stuff. But those crime scenes were just completely, because of the way that you can move mobile homes, they were literally lifted. And there was a big old fiasco on how much it cost them to store this stuff for that long. And so I don't know exactly what is being preserved. This is one of the cases in the area that they have been so tight-lipped, and some of the information that's come out has kind of been speculatory and hasn't necessarily been reported by the sheriff, but the sheriff is corrupt, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't even know what we find out as far as what we're going to believe. The court and the trial dates, those are going to be huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait till the trial start. That is something that I will be watching very closely. It's a very interesting case.
I wonder why they didn't set a date. They said that they were giving the Jake's defense attorney more time to review the case and stuff like that, but they didn't schedule another trial date. I'm just curious when they're planning on doing that.
I don't know. I think they said something about maybe they had to give the defense like a big bunch of evidence or something.
Yeah, they
So
needed time to go through all of that.
yeah, so I think that they like pushed back the September 4th date to an unknown date right now.
Yeah. I'm looking at why the sheriff was arrested here. It says, oh crap. Okay, he was accused of stealing cash that was seized from drug cases handled by his office to fund a gambling problem. And it says that if criminal justice experts agree that should Reeder be found of wrongdoing in his own accusations and charges, that the Roden case could pose a serious, or that this case could pose a serious obstacle to the prosecution of the 4 members of the Wagner clan who are charged in the Roden family massacre. So they're now saying that him being charged with the things that he was charged with could corrupt and hinder the prosecution's case against the defense. So not only the fact that the evidence wasn't completely secured and watched over for all that time, and it could have been tampered with. But now you have this. It's not good. How the fact that there are 8 people that have been murdered and there are all of these things that are coming up, it's not good.
Yeah, they could walk free. They could walk free.
Yeah, they could all walk free. That'd be awful.
I know it would. But if the evidence was tampered with and they can really prove that, create reasonable doubt.
Oh yeah, that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, my mind's all over the place today, guys, with having this. Normally I have like notes and I'm ready to go on stuff I want to
Oh,
talk
you're doing good. You're doing
about.
good.
I'm
You're
looking
doing
up the
really good.
articles like while I'm talking. That's exactly what they just said here. It says that could give jurors reason to pause and give reasonable doubt. That's all I say. Like when you have 12 jurors, it just takes the one. It takes one instance and one juror to jack up the whole thing.
I know it. So one of the older women was charged with knowing something about it in connection, right? One of the grandmothers,
Yeah, that's what I was just looking
the matriarch of the family, as they would say.
at. Yeah, that's what they said. Her name's Rita Newcomb. They were trying, I guess she was out on bail or out on bond, and they were trying to have her bond revoked for some reason. She was back in court seeking to have her charges dismissed recently. She is charged with obstructing justice, perjury, and forgery for her alleged role in the execution style murders. This is from WCPO, a local news source. It says that Newcomb's attorneys asked specifically that the charge for forging custody documents be dropped due to lack of evidence, but the state announced its plan to file a motion asking for Newcomb to go back to jail. She was ordered not to have any contact with the 4 family members charged in the aggravated murder. The state said it plans to present evidence in court next month that Newcomb allegedly had conversations with her daughter. So I guess she was ordered by the court to not have any contact with the 4 people. Her daughter's Angela Wagner, one of the people that's been charged in the murders.
Yeah.
And I guess she had contact. So that's why they want to revoke her bond. She's also accused of lying to a grand jury and helping cover up the crimes.
I wonder why they didn't lock up the evidence when they pulled those mobile homes into the storage thing.
Well, they said that it was locked up, but when like news crews and stuff went around, I'm going to have to find the video and show it to you. When news crews and stuff went by, they did a whole like episode on it, and there were other people that were going out there checking it out, and what they said was secured wasn't exactly secured. And I think they just did this is my, assumption of it. I think they just did what they did. They were already bitching and complaining about the money and about how much it cost, and they were doing this on a consistent basis, trying to preserve this evidence, yet there was nothing coming of this case. So if they were to continue to add more security, like more cameras, it was on a different site. Like it was in a warehouse kind of location, but there was another sort of business or something on the other side. And so people from that other business, or if you were coming and going, like the parking lot wasn't locked off to where only certain people could come in and go. And the only reason that's a problem is because of where they actually had the evidence, and the fact that if you got into the parking lot, there were ways to get into this location and this building that housed the evidence. That was the issue. So it's just something that the defense could bring up and say, hey, you say that this is a piece of evidence and this is your reason why, but we're trying to prove to you that it wasn't. They didn't touch this. Maybe it was planted. Why do we know it was planted? Because you didn't have this secured the whole time for 12 months or whatever it was,
Right.
And now they've got these other issues.
Oh my goodness. And are they all going to have like the same trial, or are they all going to have different trials?
I think they're all going different trials, because the one that they were talking about for like Newcomb's trial will begin in Pike County on October 21st. She's going back to trial for a pretrial on August 28th. But Jake Wagner, his trial was supposed to start, or his pretrial was supposed to start, September 4th, and now that's been pushed back to an unknown date and time. I don't know about the others. I'd have to look specifically. Let's see here. I'm
Because
pretty
I've
sure.
seen defendants tried together, when they've committed the same crime. I was just wondering, but I have seen them all in court separately.
Yeah, you know what gets me when they all go to court separately is when like one person has committed a crime. Like, okay, so this is just an example. If say there's like three people going to a crime, or they're going to a house, and there's one person driving, and then there are two people that are just going to get out of the car real quick, go in and break into a house and collect whatever it is, money, whatever, jump back in the getaway car, and the getaway driver is going to drive them away, right? Well,
Right.
if that goes wrong in the state of Ohio, if that goes wrong and somebody is murdered in that, like, it's aggravated murder or whatever, because something goes wrong and they're walked in on while they're trying to be robbed or whatever. And if somebody dies, then not only can the person who say shot him, stabbed him, whatever, be charged with murder, but so can the accomplice that's next to them that didn't do anything. And in addition to that, they take it one step further and say, hey, and even that getaway driver can be charged with the exact same crime. So if they all three are charged with the exact same crime, but they all three go up against different juries. Jeez, I cannot talk. Different juries. What could end up possibly happening, and I've seen it before, is that getaway driver is actually charged harsher than the guy who pulled the trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that happen before. That's crazy, isn't it? It's like the people that do like murder for hire. It's
Mm-hmm.
usually the person that hires the hitman that gets a harsher sentence. I've seen that happen. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm cleaning up from my live stream on my bar a little bit. I've been on YouTube for about 2 hours now.
I know. I was just thinking I got to get off of here soon.
I do too. I got to get off here.
My
I'm
voice is
dying to
going
take
out.
a bathroom break. I've drank a lot of coffee.
I got to go run and pick up my prescriptions and run to the grocery, and I got to go get my little man soon here. But I'm starting to lose my voice again. I was trying not to cough. Every time I like get that scratchy feeling in the back of my throat, I'm like trying not to cough. Like,
Yeah. Well, I think it's been a good first stream.
I agree.
Good
We're gonna.
conversation. You did a good job, girl. You know what you're talking about. You got the
Well,
info
thanks.
on this.
Kinda. I mean, I
Where
feel
you
like I
live
have.
close.
I just feel like I need to go back and revisit all the stuff because it's been so long that since I've looked into it, and now that all this is kind of coming out, I've been so involved in other cases and other stuff that's been
Yeah,
going on. I need to revisit.
yeah, there's some new articles out I saw. I'll go look at later. I've got some stuff I've got to get done.
Yeah,
I
I
have
hear you. So
to clean up
we're
my dog's mess.
you want to start doing this again on Tuesday? Do this Tuesdays and Fridays?
Yeah, Tuesdays and Fridays at 10:30. Is that good?
Yep, sounds good to me.
10:30? Okay. Thank you guys for joining us for our first stream.
Thanks. I cannot talk. I feel like I have verbal constipation right now. We're like, I don't
I
know.
always do. I
Jeez,
always do.
my
I don't
gosh, I
care.
cannot talk. I'm like trying to get it out there and it's just not coming. Thank you everyone for joining. I appreciate it. I'll have my crap together next time. I promise. As soon as I say I promise, I won't. I'm really going to try and promise to have my crap together next time.
Yeah, we'll have to look at other cases and discuss them, like the Mike Williams case. I know a lot about that.
Awesome. Well, hey, we'll get going on that and we will be back with y'all on Tuesday.
Thanks, girl. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Have a good
Bye.
day. Bye.